start.
The song isn't playing.
It's not playing. Oh, the Bluetooth is off. I think the Bluetooth disconnected.
I came by today to see you. Oh, I had to let you know. If I knew the last time that I held you was the last time, I'd have held you and never let go. Oh, it's kept me awake nights wondering, lie in the dark just asking why. I've always been told you won't be called home until it's your time. I guess heaven was needing a hero, somebody just like you, brave enough to stand up for what you believe and follow it through. When I tried to make it make sense in my mind, the only conclusion I come to is heaven was needing a hero like I remember the last time I saw you. Oh, you held your head up proud. I laughed inside when I saw how you were standing out in the crowd. You're such a part of who I am, and now that part will just be void. No matter how much I need you now, heaven needed you more. 'Cause heaven was needing a hero, somebody just like you, brave enough to stand up for what you believe and follow it through. When I try to make it make sense in my mind, the only conclusion I come to is heaven was needing a hero like you. Yes, heaven was needing a hero that's you.
Just leave it. Just leave it.
When we met together to talk about this service, Norma was talking about singing that song, and she said, "Do you think it will sound funny if I sing it along with the singer?" And I think it sounded absolutely awesome. So, way to go. That was wonderful. So, friends, this is where we are going to share some stories and some memories. And Maggie Stokin is going to kind of tee off for us to get the ball rolling. And then rather than me coming back up in between everybody and saying, okay, who would like, I'm just going to kind of let this free form itself for a little bit. The only thing I would ask, I'd love to hear your stories. Just try to keep them to a couple of minutes because I think that other people might want to talk as well. And please don't feel that if you sit right there and don't say a word that there's any problem. Probably the most of you are going to do that. But for those that would like to come, I would just invite you to come up here. You can adjust this. You can pull this out of the stand if it's easier for you. But Maggie, I'm going to ask that you come and get things going for us.
That was amazing. You were a badass mama. All right, so first things first. Cheers, Jeremy.
Cheers.
Somebody get Norma a beer. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Maggie Stokin, and I have known Jeremy since he was in the womb. This morning I was thinking about Norma and bowling while she was pregnant. That was something to watch right there. She bowled some great games when she was pregnant with that kid, though. So she was definitely good for the team that year. The McWilliams and the Rasnick family have been together for a long time. I'm a Rasnick. My dad and Willie McWilliams were buddies. And I'm watching today the fourth generation of McWilliams that I've witnessed being friends and family. I feel so lucky that Jeremy's family is my family. We love all of you, and we are so sorry that this has happened. I want to tell a couple of good stories about Jeremy. I have hundreds, but Pastor Sean is putting a time limit on me. So the first thing I want to talk about is at daycare. Our kids have been together for so long. Watching them grow up, this is a kid that I have prayed for his whole life. And he was fierce the way that he loved you daycare kids. Some of you were his cousins, some of you were just his friends, but you were all his family, and he loved you fiercely. One of the funniest things about Jeremy is when I introduced Jeremy to Jumbo. Most of you that know Jeremy know that he was kind of a smart aleck. And he was a little smart alecky to Jumbo, and Jumbo's like, "What's going on with you, kid? And what's going on with that eye? Why are you looking at me like that?" Our kids had sleepovers all the time. And the first sleepover that Jeremy came to when Jumbo lived in the same house with us, Jeremy was just going upstairs to go to bed like they always did, right? Jumbo's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, kid. Them girls are sleeping upstairs and you're sleeping downstairs." And Jeremy's like, "What? Okay, Jumbo, I'll sleep downstairs." Well, we had this dog, and her name was Patches. And Patches was a blue Australian Shepherd. And she had one blue eye and one brown eye. And that dog freaked Jeremy out every time he saw the dog. Well, what Jeremy didn't realize was Jeremy's eye freaked the dog out. So Jeremy had to sleep downstairs. And they'd played Fear Factor and ate all kinds of the grossest stuff you could ever imagine. Well, middle of the night, I hear screaming, and I think something's wrong with one of the girls. And Jumbo runs out, and it's Jeremy. He's gotten up to go to the bathroom, and the dog freaked out, and Jeremy freaked out, and he's running through the house screaming his head off because that dog was after him, and that dog never chased anybody. So I will never, he was like, I should have just slept upstairs with those girls. He fiercely loved people, and he looked out for everybody. I've seen messages that he has sent my girls. I've seen messages that he sent to Haley that said, I will whoop his ass. Just point me in the right direction. Thirsty Thursdays, he loved Thirsty Thursday. He would come and hang out with us. And no matter how many bush lattes he had, he would tell people, I'll drive you home. I'm thinking you shouldn't drive. I remember saying to Jumbo, dude, when Jeremy thinks he's better to drive than you need to be driven home. This is my baby Jay. Say hi. I'm so happy to see all of you, and I know you kids have suffered a few losses, more losses than many of us have at your age. Just remember that you don't know when the last time you're going to see someone is. Make sure you hug that hug. Make sure you give that love and tell those people that you love them, because we don't know. Jeremy will be so missed, but he loved all of you so much. Who's next?
Some of you guys who don't know, I'm Doug Bradshaw. I was the kid that was with Jeremy when he, shot his eye out. Yeah.
Get closer to the mic, Dougie.
I could probably sit up here and tell you guys a whole book on some of the memories I had with Jeremy, but I could sit last night and think of two that literally stick with me to this day, every day. And one was sitting in the garage helping Jeremy work on his Honda Accord, and Jerry's satellite was parked in front of it. And
job, clutch.
yeah, let's just say I decided not to push the clutch in when I tried to start Jeremy's Accord, and it hopped right into Jerry's car. Everybody in that household still doesn't let me live this down to this day, so I'm still sorry, Jerry. I still see you drive it, so hopefully the dent's still there. And another one was hunting with him. The last time I actually got to go hunting with him, he always told me we were always brothers. And we didn't talk as much anymore, but no bow hunting trip will ever be the same without him. He taught me everything there was to that sport, so I can't stand up here and say much, but
You got
any
your
boat?
double stack picture though.
Yeah. Hunting will never be the same without talking to Jeremy. He was always a swamp away from me, so I'll appreciate every time I had with him. And Norma, Jerry, to his whole family, if you guys ever need anything, please contact me. I will help in any way I can. If you ever need stories that I'm not going to talk about up here, I'll be more than glad to come and drink and tell you a couple, but I definitely will be happy about that, but I definitely hope to see you guys soon, so thank you guys.
Thanks, Dougie.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm Jeremy's cousin. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
I'm sure you're his favorite cousin.
I know I was his favorite cousin. I was doing the same thing last night. I was just sitting trying to think of like all of the memories that I had with Jeremy, and I wouldn't even call him my cousin. I would always tell people he was the younger brother that I never was blessed with, because he was always my little protector. Sorry. Even if I wasn't with Jeremy, he was always making sure someone was looking over me. He was always texting any of the guys I was hanging out with or any of the girls, making sure that I was okay. And I don't know if some of you have seen it already, if you follow Norma and Jeremy on Facebook, but Jeremy decided to text one of his guy friends one night to make sure I was okay. And he said, make sure that you protect my little cousin and make sure no one is hurting her, whatever. And he texted him back and said, well, she punched me in the face, so I think she has herself under control. Charlie, I'm sorry, I still don't know why I did that. But I think one of my very first memories with Jeremy was our daycare days. And I don't know whose idea it was, because it wasn't mine, still to this day. We decided to play cosmetology, and our friend Sarah had her hair down to her hips, and Jeremy decided to cut her hair off to her shoulder. And then they looked at me and said, it's your turn now. And I said, I don't think I want to play anymore. And at the same moment, my older sister walks in to see us, and we're like, oh no. But I think all of us knew Jeremy as the kid that would drop everything for you. One of my memories of him is I was sitting at home at night and I was by myself going through something, and I texted him just telling him I didn't want to be alone. He dropped everything and came and picked me up, and he took me to his house, and I just hung out with him for the night. And that just proves like how golden his heart was. He was just making sure that all of us was always okay. And I just want to apologize to my mom and to Aunt Norma, because I'm surprised we'd never give you guys a heart attack. For all the dumb shit we did growing up, oh my gosh, from racing each other, almost flipping my mom's car, sorry mom. And stealing my dad's beer, sorry dad. I'm gonna miss people telling us, here comes double trouble, when I'm always walking around with him, and I'm gonna miss looking for him at all of our family events. I'm sorry.
He'll always be there, Chelsea.
I just have to remember that every dumb thing that I do, he's looking over me, looking at me like, you shithead, stop doing that. But he's always in my heart, and he'll always be our little bodyguard, just looking over us in heaven.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Tommy Hyde, and I've known Jeremy for about 10 years now. First time I met him, I texted one of my best friends saying, let's go fishing today. I'm at work, so he gave me this random kid's number. Never met the kid in my life. Get an address, and so I Google it, show up at the McWilliams residence. So, you want to go fish a bub or what? Yeah, all right. We ended up having a great day down at Bittersweet Dam. Secret spot, sorry. But we got along almost about everything. The only thing we really disagreed on is if I was going to whoop him or if he was going to whoop him. Like, don't know who it was first. sorry about that. And,
Mic up too if you want.
Take it right out there and hold it in your hand if you want.
but I don't know, I've caught more fish with that kid. He actually has a fish on the wall the day after my graduation party. We went fishing, and me and a couple of good buddies. It was a great time. I'll never forget the memories we had. And there was a lot of beers drank. That's all I got.
I know there's one.
I'm sure.
I got a good one.
Where did he run away to, Terry?
Yeah, Jeremy got mad one day and he was gonna run away, and he made it to the back of the doghouse, right outside of the house. He kept peeking up over the top. Jerry goes, look out the kitchen window. He get down, and then he peeks up. Jerry goes to the slider and he goes, you better go a little bit further, because we can still see you.
Oh, he was my brother. And every deer season, we get to sight our bows in and stuff like that. And I will miss that so much. And I won't forget when my brother put a wax worm in my uncle's beer can up the north. Come up here, Uncle. And I'll miss hunting with him this year too.
And so will I. He was my hunting buddy. And I now got to tell about the waxing story.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
About that day too.
We're out. Jeremy's I think 5, and we're catching bluegills off the bed, and we're using wax worms. And I think my brother gave him the wax worm. He's walking around with it, and we're trying to teach him to bait his own hook. And all of a sudden I look over there, he doesn't have his wax worm anymore. And I asked my brother, I said, what did he do with that wax worm? I don't know. He must have dropped it or something. Well, I took a drink off my beer. I found the wax worm. And that was our story about fishing that day. And I never let him forget it. But I did lost my hunting buddy too.
And I won't forget the day that he and it put a song of Charlie Flanagan's song in my phone. Love you, bud.
Uncle Jim love you all the time. So he started to pass away in that day. So he can't see you anymore. Now he's in heaven watching you. And if he see you again, and you would all be happy if you could see him. And I love you guys all. And Uncle Jimmy passed away. And one day, so we couldn't stand him anymore. So Uncle Jimmy cannot see over again. Most of you know I'm Jeremy's big sister. I'm 9 years older than he is. Once. I remember begging my mom for a little brother or sister. I literally begged her all the time. So when I got him, I was so happy. I could not wait. I was out the door at my dad's first thing in the morning. My Aunt Melanie actually came to pick me up. Do you remember that? Where are you? You called me. Your mom, you want to go see this baby? I said, yep. I was on my way, and there's so many memories from when we were little with all of the siblings. Memories from just when I first met George and he first met George. He was a little afraid of him. If you don't know, my husband's the big tall guy that was directing traffic. So when he saw him, he was like, oh. You know, as big and bad as my brother was, he was not messing with George. One night, George and I had come home, and there was a little fiasco, and someone had smashed a mug on my husband's head. He was my boyfriend at the time. So it was a lot of blood. He had stitches. We come home. Jeremy, this is what I see. He opens his bedroom door, he looks, and he goes, and he closes it. He closes it so fast, and then he hears me in the hall. He's like, sis, did he kill somebody? I was like, no, he didn't kill anybody. And so he was just talking to us a couple weeks ago about that story, telling us, I really did think he killed somebody. I'm like, he would not kill somebody. But I have, you know, if you've been around Jeremy long enough, you may have had a little bit of beef with him every now and then, even being a sister as adults. We
Or his little brother.
had our tiffs. You guys had your tiffs, yes. But I was very blessed in the very last month of his life that when he, you know, came to terms with the fact that he did have a problem, and coming to Mom and I and spending every single moment, hey sis, what you doing? Do you want me to come get you? He'd say, yep. I'd go pick him up with the drop of a hat. There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't change a thing that I've done with my brother. I miss him profusely. There's no word big enough for how much I miss him. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk for just a second longer. In March, I lost somebody else very significant in my life. He was 6 months older than I was. My cousin Tom, he was like my big brother. Again, before George, he was there, you know. You let me know if you need something, he was on it. When I lost Tom, the person that stepped in was Jeremy. I always called him, you're my big little brother, because he wasn't afraid, you know, if I have to be there for you, I'll do it. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna go down swinging for you. And I appreciated how he stepped in, and he could just tell if I posted on Facebook something wasn't right. I was really down, and he would message me. He wouldn't comment. He would message me or call me. Sis, you okay? You need something? I don't know what I can do for you, but let me know, because I want to be there. I want to help you. Then 2 weeks later, my husband gets coronavirus, and I was like, is this real? Are you really serious right now? There was a few other choice words in there. But the first thing he messages me, sis, you got TP? I'm like, yes, I have TP. We're a big family. We always have a lot of it. But anything, he said, sis, I ain't got much, but if it's my last dollar, you got it. You got it. I'd give you whatever my last bit of anything was. He thanked me many times for spending time with him, picking him up and bringing him over, letting him spend the day with the kids, and not being judgmental of his condition, his physical condition, not judging him at all, and just loving him unconditionally. And I feel like that is a huge message that if anybody takes anything away from this day, when people reach out to you in their deepest, darkest moment of need, answer the call, answer the text. I have no regrets, none, because he thanked me. Sis, you don't know what this time has done for me. It helps me. You, the kids, and he says, and even George with his little smart butt jokes. He said, I know he's there for me too. Thank you guys very much for coming out and supporting, and this is amazing, and I'm so happy that it turned out this way. I'm glad I finally got to meet a lot of you guys. I tried to get around to introduce myself because it really means a lot to me. This is very special, and I know my family appreciates it.
Sure y'all know who I am. Yeah, see, he always said he wanted to be like me. I tell him, no, you don't. You don't need that headache. Yeah, I do, Dad. I don't care. I tell him no again. You know what? I see the things that he did. I never did a Robin Hood. Many arrows I ever shot, I never did a Robin Hood. He did it.
One-eyed Fred Bear, I call him.
But anyway, I don't know who's there, but you know, I never did a Robin Hood. He did it. I couldn't do it. He's proud he did it like Uncle Sonny did it. He thought that was the greatest thing in the world. You know, and I tell him, you know, you don't need to get all the trouble that I did. He didn't care. Now, Dad, I'm going to be like you. And it took me a long time to realize, you know what? After seeing all you people out there and all the stuff that you guys talk about and doing and all the friends that he had, I guess being like me wasn't too bad. I'm proud of him. He was a great kid. The hurt is so bad, but you know what? The memories are good. I love him always well, but I love all my kids.
Hello. I am Jeremy's sister, his little big sister, whatever you want to say. He was such a turd, to say the least. The most recent memory I have, I went over to my dad's house after Grandma's, I think it was. I don't know, we had dinner at Grandma's or something and went over. And there was a salt gun for shooting flies. And I was shot, obviously. I mean, it hurt, but I didn't know how far away he was. So I took the gun and I shot him very close. He got a pretty good welt. Then we're super smart, so we just kept like passing the gun back and forth and shot each other like 10 times, because that's what we do. So yeah, that was my most recent memory of Jeremy. But that's what we did. We were closer in age, so we were the ones always punching each other and hey, how's it going? But I'm gonna miss that turd. I'm gonna miss walking up and hey, what's going on? But then there's the other memories way back when he was even protective of his big sisters. I used to work at the pizza shop in town, and Dad was not okay with me closing up at night by myself. So little brother was dropped off to me to protect me, so I wasn't there alone. He'd help me. What do we got to do to get out of here quicker? Well, we got to wait for that clock to say 10 o'clock or whatever, but if you want to sleep, go for it, bro. So he was there to protect and also there to fight a little. So.
You gotta hold it close.
Let's do this one.
Hold it up.
No, there you go.
There you go.
I remember the first time going with them and
You got it.
we went to the deer blind and Mama got stormed on.
Yeah, you guys had we were over had me and Papa didn't. So we got rained on that day.
Yeah, it was funny.
Little stinker.
Even though we didn't get nothing, but I remember going fishing with him and we caught a pretty decent amount of fish. And then when we were taking out the scales off the fish, Owen stuck it with a spoon. and he was like, "No, you're not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to rip the scales off." And he cut him open with a knife, and it was funny. But there was another time me and him were hanging out, and out of nowhere he says, "You want to see something funny?" And it was him and Dougie going fishing, and Dougie had to climb the tree to get the hook off the tree or something like that. He showed me the video. I remember riding the quad with him down the road, and then I remember him driving out of nowhere and just come up with a wheelie and him slammed away and then another day, this was before the last one I got to see him. We were playing a game of pool and I was doing pretty good, and then he won and he said, "I wasn't gonna let you win." And then he had this huge magazine for his gun, and Mom was like, "Why do you have that big of a magazine?" And he said, "If I don't get to light someone up with 20 rounds before I'm gone, then I shouldn't be shooting."
That's right, buddy.
Good job, Carson. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
I have a feeling you hear that a lot. You can fill it right out of there.
There you go. Yeah, I'll just do
You
that.
don't need that mic.
No, I really don't, do I? Anyway, the very few of you that may not know me, my name is Sherry, and I actually moved in next door to Jerry, and that's when I got to meet Norma, Jeremy, and all the kids. And I just remember one of the biggest things, because there's so many stories, so you got to clump them together, is Jeremy's smile, right? It didn't matter, that grin. You either knew he was going to full of shit and he was going to do something, or he was going to be the sweetest little son of a gun ever. He was a jokester. I remember when he came in and the kids were playing, because Norma actually watched my kids. So again, I gained 2 nieces and 2 nephews by the privilege of moving next to Jerry and getting to know Norma and the kids, right? So the kids are outside playing because we always hang out, play cards and whatever, and our little lattes and, you know, hot tubs and hunting and fishing. And I remember the one time when the kids come on in, Norma and I had some munchies and snacks with the kids. Jeremy just did one of his little things and just started mowing, and then he turned on and he's got his short little hair. He's about 5 years old. The smile, no matter what he did, when he was fishing, hunting, or whatever. That day, I don't remember how we come up with that, but we called him a germ ball because he was so dirty. Because after it, all the chocolate from on his face, you looked at his feet. They were out in the mud. They're out there playing. They're being boys, kids. It was amazing. To this, not really to this day. But he is still my germ ball. And I know I'm the only person around that can call him germ ball without getting their ass kicked.
You also called him pork chop, too.
Yeah, there you go, absolutely. But like so many people said, too, is that he would always help. With my job, I was forced to go move the Flints, and I come back and I had, my freezer took a poop. And it was nasty. So I'm freaking out. I'm having the cow. Corey's kind of having a fit with me, and it was gross and disgusting. So he decides to call Jerry. You want to see some gross shit that's in my mom's basement? They have to scoop and throw all this out, and that tiny little skinny little son of a gun, I swear, is as strong as an ox. Because him and Corey and I finaggled this old prehistoric freezer, right? So you know how heavy they are. Carried it up out of my house and got it all wiggled on out. He was always there for everybody. I'm just really sorry that with me being in Flint, that some of my memories have stopped. But every time I saw him, Alex, everybody, Becca, Kim, they still call me a Sherry, so I know that you guys mean as much to me, and I mean as much to you, and I really miss you a lot. And, but I'll never forget that smile. That's one thing I will never forget, his smile and his big heart. See, that was nice.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna do this right.
Am I allowed to have one more? That's a good one.
I have one more.
That's a good one.
Get Casey up there,
Okay.
Yeah, get Casey up there with
Becca. Tell Casey to come up here. I want you guys to tell how you guys did to Chelsea and take her to bed.
Oh, you gotta come tell the story about the table in Chelsea. But, okay.
Rebecca.
Dad said.
Get up there, Casey. Tell the
No.
story.
Rebecca.
Okay, I did my most recent one, but I got a much funnier one.
Oh, is it about the one, the
The deer. Remember? Okay, so once upon a time, I was a terrible big sister, and I let him have a couple of beverages before he was old enough for beverages. Technically, we were at Brian and Danielle's house. There was a lot of beer pong. There was a lot of beer pong played that night. I was sober, so I was driving.
Were you pregnant?
Yes. Probably pregnant. So there was a deer, and it jumped into the side of the car. Okay, I was slowing down. Because there was a deer, and there was a stop sign coming. But then the deer turned and was going into the field. So I was like, all right, I don't have to slow down as much and pay attention. No, that deer was a jerk. It jumped right into the side of the truck. We're going, and Jeremy is like, we have to go back. If it's dead, we're taking it. It's hunting season. I got tagged, blah, blah, blah. We got to go back for this deer. I'm like, okay. So I turn around, we go back, and the deer's like way out in the field. And it's like putting his head up and down, and he goes, I was like, it's not dead, guys. It's not dead. And Jeremy's like, I'm going after it. And Casey had knives, but he was like, this isn't a safe situation. So Casey pretended there was no knife. So Jeremy is just running out in this field after this deer with nothing but him and drunk. And the deer stands up, and Jeremy stops, and he like does this shuffle thing, and then the deer runs, and it had to be a couple seconds, and the deer's running before Jeremy chases after it. It goes over the road and up a hill, and Jeremy stops in the road. He's like, oh. He gets back to the car. I was like, what were you gonna do if you caught the deer? I was gonna punch it and knock it out. Of course, Jeremy would say that. I was like, he was like, but it had more horns than I thought it did. Like, how many horns did you think it had? Well, I thought it was a doe, that's why I could punch it and knock it out. Like, no. So, that is one of my favorite Jeremy memories.
We had one.
Robert involved with the taping?
I don't know, were you?
I think he was there that night.
I don't know. It was really late. It was probably
Another beer pong night.
the next day.
It was, yeah.
Me and Jeremy and Robert were still up, and we thought it'd be fun to duct tape somebody to something. Poor Chelsea had already passed out, and so
She was laying there.
she was on the couch, and we knew that wouldn't work. So we hurried up and picked her up and threw her on the table and duct taped her to the table.
And poor Chelsea is like half waking up like, no.
Not enough to fight us. though.
But
We
not
got
enough
her-
to fight
we got her
back.
there. We were good to go.
There's pictures. It was a good time.
I'm not happy about that story.
That is not the first time Chelsea was actually, the next time she was saran wrapped to a bed.
To a bed.
They're
Oh,
mean.
God.
Him and Jeremy.
You helped.
I did.
You helped.
I did help on the saran wrap situation. I did do that.
That one was tricky. We had to pick a lock to get into that one.
Yeah, she locked the door. She did not trust us.
I remember when he told us don't lose an eye, and then when he was like swinging his arms around, he tapped me and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, don't lose an eye." He always told us.
You got it, buddy.
So he was swinging this toy. It was like plastic. He was swinging this bat around, and then he hit someone in the head. I don't know who it was. And then we said, "Ow!" And then he was like, "Was that your eye?"
Patrick, how many times did he scare you guys to death with his eye?
Never. They thought it was cool.
And once, he went outside and came back in, and then Owen came to him, and then I heard Owen scare him because he screams, and then he said to Owen, "You could have given me a heart attack." I remember when we were at an air show. We were picking up spiders, and he took out his eye, and at the time I didn't know he had a fake eye. And I was like, "You lost your eye?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I thought it was cool after I got over that.
He's like, you didn't tell him? I was like, I forgot.
So what Patrick was saying, the day we went over, he brought a new, it was a plastic baseball and a ball like this big. And he was swinging it around, and he said, he's like, "I
just bought this, and he hit it, and it went boom. And he was like, was that your head? And I was like, no, it was my hip. And he felt bad because he thought it was my head.
Well, friends, I want to thank you for all of those memories. I want to thank so many of you for sharing, and I know that as we wind this part of the service down, I know people will be hanging out and talking and sharing maybe some of those stories that you couldn't share from the front here. But these shirts, Holler Boys for Life, that was just a part of Jeremy's ethos, and the family wanted to make sure that we played that song as we bring things to a close. So we're going to listen to one last song, and then we'll close with a prayer, and then I'm sure people will be hanging out, talking, drinking, and having some good stories.
Naughty. He was in McWilliams, dude.
The only poison I've had is IV. The only man I fear is God. No snakes can make me run now, 'cause I've been bit by a moth. No bug can stare me down, no neighbor can shut me up. I'm off the grid and I'm off my rock. I'm off in the holler sun with them holler boys. Holler if you needed something done. Holler if you need a chip on the shoulder and a hand with a loaded gun. We'll be out that screen door, no shirt on, leaving two black marks down a one-way road. Yeah, we them holler. The only fight I've ever been in was taking up for somebody else. The only time I got my jaw jacked is never, but damn sure not quite yet. The times I miss the most are the times nobody knows. When it was me, my cousin, and a couple of my buddies racing down old Sam's Creek Road. We them holler boys. Holler if you needed something done. Holler if you need a chip on the shoulder and a hand with a loaded gun. We'll be out that screen door, no shirt on, leaving two black marks down a one-way road. Yeah, we them holler boys. Holler boy, native to the holler soul, washed in the spring of a farmer's joy. We them holler boys. Holler if you're needing something done. Holler if you need a chip on a shoulder or a hand with a loaded gun. We them holler boys. Holler if you needed something done. Holler if you need a chip on the shoulder and a hand with a loaded gun. We'll be out that screen door, no shirt on, leaving two black marks down a one-way
Let's close our time in prayer. God, we thank you for your presence here this afternoon, and we thank you for the gift of laughter, the gift of sorrow, and the gift of memory. Father, as we close this time, we commit the soul of our brother, your son, Jeremy Wayne McWilliams, to your care, knowing that you've gone on ahead to prepare a place for him as you have for each of us, that you may come and bring us to be where you are also. We thank you for the gift of sunshine, the gift of breeze. We thank you for the gift of autumn that Jeremy so loved, to be in the woods and your creation. God, take us now in your mercy and your peace, and it's in your holy name that we pray these things. Amen. Friends, again, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your afternoon to show your respect to Jeremy and your love for the family, and we invite you to stay around and tell more stories. Thank you.
Wonderful. You know how you held it together.
I tried. I started shaking you a little bit.
God, it was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. What courage you guys had to stand up there in front of all those people and just kill it. You betcha. Of course, you proud of yourself. Sylvia, you doing okay? No, you said that.